Recently, I finished playing SteamWorld Heist, a 2D strategic shooter developed by Image & Form Games. Originally released for 3DS, SteamWorld Heist is the third game in the SteamWorld franchise, following SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2, and has since been released on PlayStation 4, Vita, Wii U, iOS, Switch, and PC, which is the version that I played. I have played the previous SteamWorld Dig games and had a pleasant time with them, and the same can be said of my time spent with Heist. Let me start by saying technically, this game is solid. I didn't run into any real bugs during my 13 hours with the game. There were a couple moments in later levels where I saw frame rate dips during turns, but those would last like half a second and then they would be passed. Now, this isn't the most graphically impressive game. You can definitely see how it was a game that started out on the 3DS, but the art direction and style are great. I liked the old-timey, serialized commercial-esque cutscenes.
Hard-working folks known as cowbutts survive by farming moisture.
And I also love the Rust Bucket space pirate vibe that is not only demonstrated in the art and the environments, but also in the characters and the dialogue. You recruit a number of different Steam bots to fill out your ragtag team of space pirates. Many of them have their own unique character classes, like a sniper or a tank, that help give you options to strategize in team composition and in combat encounters. They also have many things to say to you in between missions on your ship. While I like the amount of characters you can recruit and their unique designs, ultimately I ended up skipping dialogue later in the game because it never really seemed pertinent to the mission at hand. And in terms of team composition, I fell into a crew dynamic that I liked and never really changed from that. From a gameplay standpoint, the mechanics are fairly basic on the surface, but the greater picture requires a decent degree of strategic thinking and adapting on the fly. I played on the experienced difficulty, and occasionally the enemy AI would make a questionable move, but most of the time if I wasn't paying attention, I could quickly lose the advantage or even the entire battle. But to talk about the mechanics real quick, the main crux of the gameplay is using a number of weapons as well as a bullet ricochet mechanic to take out all the enemy robots. There are guns that let you see your bullet trajectory, some that don't, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, equipment, and armors. Enemies start out basic enough, but by the later stages you will have to deal with shielded mine deployers, snipers, teleporting alien robots, and more. The bullet ricochet mechanic is fun and rewards patience. Many times, if I timed my shot just right, I could take out multiple enemies in one turn and swing the battle in my favor, but just as frequently, I would be too hasty and basically waste a turn. There's a nice sense of progression in the game as well. Not only will you be moving on to different looking ship interiors as you push onward in your journey, but characters level up and learn new skills, and new equipment becomes available at a great pace. I also like how collecting loot is a big part of the progression. You can choose when the best time to leave a level is after finishing its level criteria. Do you want to stay and collect all the loot, or do you want to make it out alive? It is a good sense of risk and reward, and risk is particularly important because the punishment for death in the game is pretty steep. If one of your characters dies in a fight, it costs resources to rebuild them after the mission, and on top of that, the specific character will earn no experience. Should all your bots die, then you lose half of all your resources. I think the penalty is a little steep, and especially in early levels when you are trying to get a handle on how the game works, it can be really demoralizing to get kicked out of a level with your tail between your legs. But other than that, I really have no other complaints with the game. It's paced well, doesn't overstay its welcome, it's well made and fun. I would recommend the SteamWorld series as a whole, but I would say SteamWorld Heist has definitely been my favorite, and I'm glad to have given it a chance.